Okay, so let's go over the syllabus in D2L, and then we'll take a break and we'll do a little icebreaker so we get to know each other. I'm not going to record the icebreaker, but that's what we'll be doing the second half. So if you're in D2L and you open up Fall 25 skills, counseling skills and techniques, you'll see the little welcome announcement. You must have read it. It's because you're here. So, all right, if you go to content, um, so I don't put a lot of content on D2L because this is an experiential course, but I do have the syllabus. I do have all the notes for the class here. So I'll show you those. So the notes, I had a graduate assistant uh, take all the notes for the class, and they're not as long as like my theories notes, which are like over 100 pages. These are like outlines of what we talk about in the lectures. You can print them and, add to them as we go along. And let's see what else. And these are old lectures, but I will post anytime I have a lecture, I'll record the lecture, I'll post it so you can go back and watch it again. And these are old lectures, but I'll post tonight's lecture probably tomorrow. Um, so let's look at the syllabus. And it's your average Penn West syllabus. All my information. Uh, let's see. The best way to reach me is through email because that's my office phone. I'm not always in my campus office, but I do check my email pretty regularly throughout the day. Um, and those are my office hours. I'll be on Zoom unless I'm meeting with somebody else in person or at a meeting or something like that. But you can always make an appointment if you want, or you can stop in. And my office is in Building B on California campus. It's where the campus police station is, and I'm in room 312. And I will be in that room during these office hours unless I'm at a meeting or something. Um, let's see. So the book, I don't teach from the book, but I do put down chapters and topics that you could read each week. I chose a book that is the most popular book for this course. I met Ivy, and super nice guy. And so if anybody ever talked about skills and techniques, they would know this book. And and the thing is, it's a super expensive book. It's like over $100. But, Rogers is dead. So his theory's not going to change. Uh, so I think that yeah, he Ivy adds a little with every edition. He makes changes, but the basic content is the same throughout all of the editions. So I looked on like Amazon and like they had early copies for like, I don't know, under 20 bucks. And so get an earlier edition for 20 bucks. Why not? Um, you don't have to buy the latest and greatest. Um, Publishers, they want a new edition every 5 years. And so uh so they can say, hey, the new edition, gotta buy edition 10, But it doesn't matter for this. You can buy any edition you want. Um, I don't know what the current edition is, but let's say it's 10, you know, buy like six, seven, eight, nine, You might not want to buy one. I don't know. I don't know what one's like, but you get the idea. Um, let's see. We have all our K-CREP standards that are covered in the course. We do have K-CREP accreditation. And these are the competencies for uh, art therapy in case you're in art therapy. And, hey, 2 or 3 tapes, 100 points apiece. They make they make us all use the same grading scale, but you know, if you meet the basic standards, which you're required to do, you'll get an A. I don't, nobody who actually tried and showed up didn't get an A. The only people who had trouble are people who didn't come to class, people who didn't make their tapes or remake their tapes, because you can keep doing it until you get an A. I'm really not about the grade. I want you to be competent. Let's see. Then you've got Title IX reporting. Here's all your information for contacts. Um, Students with disabilities. If you have a disability, go to the Office for Students with Disabilities. I'll definitely accommodate you any way I need to. Happy to do that. Integrity, you know, um, it's very hard uh, to cheat in this class. Uh, but I mean, there are ways like one thing I'd like you to memorize the confidentiality and limits of confidentiality. Yeah, technically you could go online and read it from your screen, but you really need to know those. So, you know, I would just learn them because I need to learn them. All right. Attendance, come to class. Um, so like if everybody gets different editions of the books, the chapters might be reorganized. Like chapter one is going to be introductions, but but chapter two, it might have something else for chapter two. So look for the content in the chapters. Your graduate students, you can figure out if they moved it to chapter three and read that one. You know, Eventually you'll read the whole book. Um, so yeah, I don't teach by like what it says in each chapter. Uh, but I do teach all of the skills. I do teach all of the content. I just do it in my own way. Um, so this is, tentative. We are going to practice next week in class. We are going to have practice tape one, week 3. We are going to record tape one, week 4, which seems soon, but it takes a long time to watch them all, you know? So, so when we record tapes, we'll record them in class or on Zoom, and but you'll get to watch them on your own. And just because you made one recording, maybe you didn't like something about it. Maybe you want to do something better. You'll have an entire week to make a second or third recording with your partner. So please watch them and make a couple tries at it and pick the best one. I know we'll get to tape 2 sometime after mid semester. We might not get to tape 3 because we have 18 people in the class, and that's okay. We do have to make it through two tapes though. If you have to do tape 1 over, you have until we start watching tape 2 to complete that. Because I don't want you focusing on tape 1 when we're making tape 2. So, you know, um, let's see. Tape 2, you have the whole second half of the semester to basically do it again if you want. All right. Uh, What do you upload to your portfolio in Tavera? We don't have any papers or projects or tapes. If you make a tape recording, there's going to be a special way we put it on YouTube, but it's not public, so nobody else can see it. But please, delete your recordings after we watch them in class. Maintain confidentiality, respect your peers. If somebody shares something, don't share it outside this class. Be respectful, respect everybody's confidentiality, delete the recordings. Um, okay. Then at the end of the syllabus, uh, this is something you might want to print out for yourself or whatever. Maybe you like using a computer or an iPad or something, but this is everything that's going to be included in tape one. And there is an evaluation for tape one, but it's not like, oh, I got a 4, I got a C. Nah, not for this class. This is really to give you an idea of how you're doing. And I want you to fill it out for yourselves and for each other, just to get an idea, of how to evaluate yourself. How do you think you did? Did you hit all these points? If not, what'd you miss? Well, maybe you should do it again and include that. Um, let's see. And then for tape two, we do it a little bit differently. And we do have a self-evaluation sheet for tape two. And tape three is kind of like putting everything together. But if we make it through tape two, we will have hit everything. So, you know, as long as we make it through 2 tapes. All right, let's see. Um, and then whenever I have a lecture, I'll post that the next day. When you do a tape, you're gonna, I'll give you special instructions on exactly how to create a tape. Um, but this is the Dropbox for the tape. And so everything's in week one. Okay, let's see. That's the syllabus. Questions about the syllabus. All right, let me stop recording. We're going to do our icebreaker after break.